Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and we're here with a brand new series, Alice in Borderland. As you might have noticed, I've been on a brief hiatus over the holiday period. I would be lying if I said I spent it with friends and family, because I was playing Cyberpunk 2077, and man am I having a good time. Although, while I say this, if there are any friends and families watching, well, it'll be an interesting conversation later on. That aside, back to Alice in Borderland. I know this is based on a manga. I've not read it, but from what I understand, this falls in the same vein as Gantz, which I have watched and read, and Batum, which is not mentioned in the conversation as often as it should be, in my opinion. I think there was a 12 episode season release for Batum some years ago, but it was never renewed. But what it did in the first 12 episodes, I thought the execution was much better than what happened in Gantz for the first few episodes as well. But if this is in that same category, and it lives up to the manga, then I'll definitely enjoy this quite a bit. And I mean, there's an interesting conversation that always happens with manga adaptations or adaptations in general, because studios always manage to mess this up, and Netflix or otherwise, to be honest. If we're being fair, there are a few exceptions. Rurouni Kenshin being one of my favorites presently. I think there's been 4 films so far, or 3, with the 4th one. I think the last one was an English sub the last time I checked it, so I've been waiting on that to happen. But I've been watching all the films so far, and I absolutely love it. But the thing that's interesting about it is Rurouni Kenshin didn't follow the anime or the manga, for that matter, beat for beat. They cut out a lot of stuff, and so far the community has been very well accepting of it. And I suppose that could be because it managed to maintain the heart of the series, regardless of whatever crazy liberties the writers chose to take for the live action adaptation. So there hasn't been a whole lot of complaints around that. I mean, my only gripe, and that's just me nitpicking with the Rurouni Kenshin films, is maybe just 1 or 2 casting, not even 1 or 2, maybe just the one casting, which is for Sanosuke, which the actor just didn't feel like he embodied the character for me all that much. But that's just a minor nitpicking, something in an otherwise great series of films, So I absolutely love that. But there's definitely been a few misses with Death Note, Full Metal Alchemist. I actually enjoyed the Bleach live action quite a bit. I thought it went the same direction as Rurouni Kenshin, but in that, yes, they cut out a lot of stuff, but it still focused on the core elements of Bleach. But of course, there was still some backlash, because I don't know who picks and chooses what they like and doesn't like. If the series blatantly disregards certain things, then I would understand, but they didn't do that in Bleach. Some things had to be cut out for it to fit into a feature film. So I didn't hold that against it, because Rurouni Kenshin does the very same thing. But all in all, adaptations have not been great, which is why I'm curious as to why they chose to do a live action adaptation of Alice in Borderland rather than an animated one, because I don't believe there's been an animated adaptation so far. So this is risky, but at the same time, they're smart, because I mean, there's no aside from the source material, there's no other way to compare it to anything else, And most people, while there are a lot of manga readers, most people tend to watch anime first. That's their first introduction to something, and then they'll jump into the manga and find out what they've missed. So by doing this directly to live action, they've removed some of the risk. So very, very sneaky, very sneaky. But I'm definitely looking forward to this, guys. So Alice in Borderland, episode 1. Let's check it out. That is me playing Cyberpunk. These guys give gamers a bad rep, okay? You can play games, still function normally in society, get a job, play games in your spare time.
傭兵、初めの足だけは引っ張るなよ。
Look, if all you do is sit around and play games all day, I'm with your dad on this one.
あ店長です。もうバレた。
I hope that's not the boss's girlfriend you're making out with.
よかったな。
Was it the boss's girlfriend? If it is, he sort of deserved that. Ah. Seriously? It's always strange in those situations. I mean, while it's okay to take it out on the guy, I mean, she's a willing participant, so. Is his mom just taking advantage of him for?
でも店どうする？いやまだ居酒屋あんま開いてねえから。
俺らなんかとつるんでねえでまともに生きろや。できんだからさ。
Good advice.
はあ？なんじゃそれ。
おい。何すんだよ。おい。お前の独立記念日や。おいちょうど写真。オッケー。
Starting to feel pretty nice up there. Till you start getting dizzy. I mean, nobody saw them, right? So why are they hiding from the cops? They already ran away from the actual scene. Alright, if this is anything like Gangster Batum, things are about to ramp up. Interesting. I mean, for Gantz and Batum actually, the characters or character is actually transported somewhere else, while here is like they're still here, but everyone else is actually gone. I don't know how the hell you'd actually pull something like that off. I mean, Gantz went the way of aliens thing. Batum was more, advanced technology. But I don't know how you'd pull off removing that many people from an entire city, and assuming this doesn't expand beyond Tokyo, which I'm assuming is where they are. Really no. Sure you're gonna regret that. God no. Right? How do you expect to survive though? Exactly. No women around. Unless you partner up with one of your buddies here.
What?
Now that I think about it though, I mean, even the name Alice in Borderland, which is obviously a play on Alice in Wonderland, which, Alice gets teleported to a strange world. right? So does that mean that they were teleported somewhere? It just looks like, the city that they're actually from. Um, and it's not actually that the people were moved, but they were actually teleported to somewhere that looks the same. If we're going with the whole Alice in Wonderland theme. What if you choose not to participate? And I'd want to see how this game is played before I try my hand at it. I mean, it has to be that we're transported somewhere else. I mean, I don't know how someone could be able to monitor them with pinpoint accuracy that easily. Maybe when they were gaming or something, they got, I don't know. Maybe it's a Sword Art Online type of thing.
おい、みんなどこに行ったか知ってるか?
First rule, never trust the first person that you come across.
なんだよ今の。
レーザー。一度ボーダーラインを越えたらもう出られない。
Alright, so once you enter, you can't leave. Shouldn't have gone inside. How does she know as much as she does? Dead or alive?
クラブの3。
この部屋の制限時間2分。
The time limit, they said I need to exit the building. The time limit for this room is 2 minutes.
生きるか死ぬか。
Funny.
マジでゲーム
Did you not hear the rules?
間違えたらどうなるんですか?
答えはせ。生きる
That
の
seems
ドア
a
を開
bit
けて。
too obvious.
なんでわかる?
だって生きるのドアに決まってるじ
Why would that be the answer?
ゃん。マジ？答えは生きる。
Yeah, they used up all their time. Okay, it's like it's her. Wrong door. I knew someone would have to go to pass the first one. What does it look like? 10 seconds, guys. Get moving, get moving. What the hell are you doing?
この部屋の制限時間1分50秒。
Less than they had in the first room.
さっきの子、あんたが殺した。
What's the clue to figuring out what door is the right one, though?
殴ればあんたたちもぼんやりしてるとすぐに死ぬよ。
I don't trust this girl. The door she told him to go through was the wrong one. So I would not listen to her. And you can't keep sacrificing people to figure out the answer. I mean, you could. Yeah. He's gotta be the next one to go.
このままじゃ誰も開けない。制限時間来て全員火破りで死ね。
じゃああんたが
You were doing the exact same thing in the last room. Why didn't you open it yourself? Oh, you're running out of time. You gotta do something. I get Shota to do it. I'm sorry, but it doesn't seem like he's gonna be particularly useful here. Oh, didn't die. I'm sorry, but I would have left her in there. I don't know why. Like, she knows so much, and
10秒ずつ減ってる。これしかねえ。アリス、考えろ。ヒントあるかもしんねえ。まず俺たちはこのビルに。
there's no second life here, man.
BM523
え
BM523 車
だから
The car?
答えはし
正解で言うな。
この部屋の制限時間
このビルの前にも止まってた。ビルの全長はあの車が4台分ぐらいだった。ってことはこのビルの全長はだいたい20メートルくらい。
You have to remember the 2 rooms that he actually left, though.
正方形のビルに正方形の部屋は作れても縦に3つ。つまりこのフロア
I
に
mean, he was teleported to a different world. I don't know that everything works the same way here.
10秒
消去法からこの部屋とこの部屋はアウト。やっぱり間違いない。
10秒
正解は死ぬ。生きるは罠だ。
4、3、2、1
Oh, he was right. At least give them back some time for solving the puzzle early.
正面にドアがない。ちょっと待った。なんか見落としてるかもしれない。なんでビルの裏側に通じるドアがない。何か見落としてる。何か俺たちが通ってきた部屋に仕掛けを作るスペースはなかったはず。動画してよ。ちょっと最初の部屋で動画撮ってたろ。
そんな時間ないって。
30秒
なんか見逃してるかも。
There's no
ド
door
アがな
there.
い。さっきの女子高生が開けた部屋にドアがない。
どういうこと？
でもここにはある。
10秒
つまり女子高生が死んだ部屋は正方形。
制限時間10秒
This game is cruel. I mean, what happened if Shota didn't take that recording earlier? They'd have been screwed. So the game is part luck. It's part logic, but also part luck, because if Shota didn't take that picture, then there's no way he would have known the answer.
あんたたちのおかげ。ありがとう。
I would get her to tell us everything that she knows, because she clearly knows more than she's saying. 3 of clubs. Visa.
Visa.
Another survivor.
俺はもうゲームから降りる。いくらクリアしても終わりはないぞ。やっとこれで終われる。
Alright. So when your visa expires, you expire. How long did they get though? Is it dependent on the card that they received?
あるとビザ切れの人は死ぬ。
俺たちのビザも切れる。
あと3日。
Alright, so they got three of clubs, so they got 3 days. So the higher the card number or value, the more days they get. That is their visa. Alright. A lot of people expiring today. And who is this? Alright guys, there we have it. Alice in Borderland episode 1. I definitely see, but I don't know if it's an inspiration, if they drew inspiration from those anime or manga, because I'm not sure which one, if this came before those or after. But I definitely see the similarities with Gans and Batum, and with all the all the people being killed at the end there with the lasers raining down from the sky. It definitely adds a layer to it, because this, with the addition of a visa and again the title Alice in Borderland, I'm definitely going to be going with the fact that they were teleported to a different world and they have this visa to determine how long they survive there. And that part at the end here definitely is very reminiscent of Gantz, just not as gritty. I almost wish they stepped it up a bit more and go hard with the gore element of it. If only because Gantz did it so well, but then again, this is live action, and that may not be for everyone, especially the part with the grid. When I saw that immediately, the grid, the laser grids, although that's not what killed them, it's the light from above that killed them. But it reminded me of a scene in Resident Evil, almost exactly how the grid was, and someone of course was trapped in a room and the grid spread across the room and of course just diced them. So again, that might have been a bit too graphic, but when I saw the grid, that was the first thing that came to mind. Either way, I'm loving the world of the game so far. My only nitpick, I would say, is the fact that it's not so much logic, as much as Arisu said it towards the end there, that it's not a game of chance, but that was very much chance that allowed them to survive. If Shota hadn't taken the video recording in that first room, there's no way he would have figured out what door was supposed to go next. So it is, there's logic in it, but in true anime manga fashion, there's gonna be a lot of luck and plot armor to serve the story. So yeah, that's my only nitpick, because I would love if it was something that that they had to think through, and in part he had to do that, but to come to the answer, it was definitely dependent on luck of something that Shota did or didn't do at the very beginning. So and who knows, maybe the other games won't be reflective of this one, and I imagine they'll switch things up to make the games a bit more interesting. And of course, even with Gantz, it was for the most part survival, purely for survival. Here they could have gone the route of, I don't know if eventually they would have had to make a choice, but they could have sacrificed one person for each door that they needed to go through. And I imagine we will come across someone like that in throughout the series. There's always that one person. I mentioned Butum at the very beginning, as a comparison to this as well, and that was very interesting. Butum was in effect taking place on an island, and you were given. Each player is given a specific set of bombs, each unique and does something different. And I won't spoil it for those who have not seen Batum, but if you've not seen Batum, go and check it out. Either read the manga or watch the 12 episodes that were released. It was well done in not just the execution aspect of it, but the variety in how the games played out. Because each character had to take a different approach, not just because of the whatever skill they brought to the island that they were teleported to. Some people were skilled in weaponry, self-defense. Others were just regular people, so they couldn't take the same approach. But also in the weapons that they were provided with, and of course, the weapons being the bombs, because that was the main weapon that they had to fight with. That's what they were given. And of course, on the island itself, depending on how successful you are or where you were, they would parachute food and resources and stuff like that for whoever is around. But then you had to fight to get the food and to survive. So I mean, it's one of two things: either you are the guy to get to the food first, or and you take it and try to outrun every single individual, or you stick around and you try to pick off every person that comes to try to use it as bait and try to get rid of every person that tries to go after that food source. So it was very interesting, and of course manipulation and stuff like that, people pretending and to be what they aren't, which is why I don't trust that girl. She's the first person to show up. Never trust the first person to show up. And it's pretty clear from the beginning that she was trying to get them to go through the door. I think it was pretty obvious at that point that Liv couldn't. I don't know. It's a game. It could have been any one of the doors, but that seemed like it would have been too obvious an answer. And she was telling them, okay, this is the door, as though she was certain it was the door to go through. And then when they got to the second room, it's not as though she was willing to open the door herself. So I do not trust her. It does raise some questions though, because she seems to know quite a bit. But if they all disappeared or they were brought here at the same time, I don't understand how she would know more than the other three do, or four, because the other schoolgirl that was there, she didn't know much either. So how is it that this person knows so much about the game? The old man that they met in the alley at the end there also said that there's no clear in this game, no matter how many times you win or clear, which suggests that he's been playing for a long time. So time seems to work a bit differently here, where some persons have been playing the game longer than others. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm sure they're going to have to make some tough choices going forward, especially, Chota. I hate to say it, but I'm predicting him being the one to go next. He's not just because he got injured, but he doesn't add anything to the team really. The other guy, I forget his name, the tall one, the fighter. I mean, he's at least capable physically. I don't know what I hope they get rid of the girl, because as I said, I do not trust her. But they all have something that they're adding to the team, and it sounds cruel. I know he's their friend, so I imagine they're gonna try to help him. By lifting his weight. I don't know how they're gonna do that, because I suspect they all have to participate in the game to extend their visa, right? He can't move around freely on his own now, so I don't know. They joined the game with him, I suppose, and hide him somewhere and then they go and try to win the game. But I feel at a certain point they're gonna have to make a tough choice where he's concerned. He's clearly the the character who doesn't lend a whole lot to the team itself, and I know it's gonna be it's gonna be gripping when that decision has to be made. But I can't help but think it's gonna come down to that at some point or another. I don't think it's gonna be a case where they're gonna willingly throw him to the wolves or anything like that. But a situation where maybe he will have to sacrifice himself so that they will go on, or irrespective of what they do, they will have no choice but to leave him behind. But I don't know. For the moment, I have my eye on that girl. As I said, you never trust the first person. Get teleported into a strange game. You never trust the first person that arrives on spot, right? Especially not when they know more than you do. First rule of surviving a life-threatening game like this. That is the first rule. Never trust the first person to show up. All right, but definitely thoroughly enjoyed that one, guys. Be sure to post down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on Alice in Borderland. Hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys for the next one.